The Mavericks beat down their I-45 rival in the Houston Rockets to take out some frustration on Kevin Durant in Houston. We'll break it all down coming up next on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Welcome to the DLLS Mavs postgame show powered by Game Time and Michelob Ultra. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. And Michelob Ultra, official beer sponsor of the NBA. Kevin Gray alongside our DLLS Mavs analyst Bobby Corella. We are DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys covering your favorite team, especially when they beat down Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets as the Mavericks take out their frustration on Houston tonight with a 122-109 win in a game where they led by as many as 22 points to improve to 9-16 on the year and win their fourth game in the last 5 tries. We will get you all what you need to know throughout the course of our postgame show as the Mavericks get it done tonight. Our DLLS Mavs beat writer Harrod Jr. and our national NBA insider Mark Stein will be joining us live from the AAC a little bit later on in our show. And what was, especially in the second half, Bobby, a dominant defensive performance from this Mavericks team to be able to beat the Rockets on the second night of a back-to-back.
There aren't many teams that can go up against the Rockets and appear to be the more athletic team, and the Mavs are one of them. Amen Thompson aside, the Mavs made the Rockets look old and dusty tonight, which is weird because outside of KD, they're not really that old. But Dallas was getting up and down the floor. I mean, the third quarter was just one fast break after the next. The Mavs were forcing a lot of turnovers. And really, I think, Houston was missing a lot of guys. But it felt like the Rockets were playing like the Mavs were whenever the Mavs were bad, like a couple weeks ago. A lot of turnovers. Really not much effective playmaking. Their best offense was just to give it to one guy and everyone kind of get out of the way. Not a lot of shooting you have to worry about. Like, just very bad, very turnover-prone, clumsy offense that leads to a lot of turnovers and a lot of easy buckets for the other team. And the Mavs took advantage of that. And it's way more fun to be the team on the giving end of that than on the receiving end of that.
For
sure. We have seen the Mavs suffer through games like that way too many dang times already this season. But I mean, they had 13 steals.
Yep.
They forced so many turnovers. They had so many runouts, so many easy dunks, easy layups in transition, especially in the third quarter. And they just blew the game wide open, and the Rockets just did not have another gear to kick it into.
No, they did not, as they were on the second night of a back-to-back themselves after getting a win at home last night against the Phoenix Suns. The Rockets did not have enough energy, especially in the second half, to keep up as the turnovers became a massive problem for them, thanks to the Mavericks and them forcing the issue. A lot like we talked about in the pregame show, one of the X factors that I had coming into the game was that the Mavericks have to try to force the issue against a Rockets team that loves to turn the ball over. In fact, 9th worst in the NBA coming into tonight in turnovers per game, and the Dallas Mavericks did their part, especially P.J. Washington, who came back tonight after missing the last 4 games with his ankle sprain, had 5 steals, tying a career-high 5 steals did P.J. Washington tonight to go along with 14 points, 7 rebounds as well. He was all over the place as the Mavericks were able to really break things open in the third quarter to improve to what is now 6-9 at the AAC this season. As I mentioned, now 4-1 in the last 5 games. A quality week for the Dallas Mavericks, Bobby, beating the Miami Heat, the Denver Nuggets, and the Houston Rockets, and to doing so on the second night of what has been their most difficult back-to-back after playing Oklahoma City and then Houston tonight. 3 really good wins this week for a team that needed some good energy and were able to really put it together on the floor, culminating with another win tonight.
Dare I say the Mavs have been, for the better part of about the last 10 days, a good team.
Yeah.
They have been
That's fair.
good basketball team. Winning at Denver is very tough. Beating Miami, no matter where you play them, is tough. And then beating the Rockets on the second night of a back-to-back is very tough. Like, these are 3 very, very tough wins. And this is like the Mavs haven't won 3 games in a week all season. You know, they just won. What was the stat for the first time? They won back-to-back games. What, like
That's
this
right.
week, right?
Yeah, when they beat the Clippers and then they beat the Denver Nuggets.
Their first consecutive wins all season. And here they are now, winners of 4 of their last 5 or 5 of the, whatever it is.
Yeah, 4 of their last 5, yeah.
I mean, they're playing well, and they're getting a little healthier. Obviously, 80's back. Gafford and Lively are out, but I think offensively, playing 80 at the 5 is way, way, way better than 80 at the 4. And so even though you do miss Gafford and Lively, whether you're a fan of them or not, like, you miss their size on defense and all that stuff, but the Mavs have certainly feasted on offense with 80 at the 5. PJ back tonight, like you said, he played great. And Ryan Nembhard is for real, man. He is an honest-to-goodness basketball player.
And the Mavericks put on a show in front of the greatest Maverick of all time, Dirk Nowitzki, who was in the building tonight as 41 took in what was a really good defensive performance from this Mavericks team. Rockets dropped to 15-6 on the year. Kevin Durant had 27 points in this game, but did not play at all in the fourth quarter.
How have they only played 21 games?
Who, the Rockets?
Yeah.
Yeah, scheduling has been kind of wonky throughout the course of for a lot of different teams, as the Mavericks played what was their 25th game tonight, and the Rockets playing just their 21st game of the season. So the Mavericks will actually now have 6 days off. In fact, they won't be on the floor again until Friday when the Brooklyn Nets come to town. So a team that's been banged up a lot as of late, whether it's Daniel Gafford, obviously P.J. Washington made his return. Klay Thompson missed tonight's game as well with some left knee soreness. He was doubtful coming in. He was eventually ruled out. They'll have a chance to get healthy a little bit with some time off before they welcome in Brooklyn on Friday, with the NBA Cup schedule starting to take shape and fold as this coming week goes on. The Mavericks will get a chance to get a little bit of rest, a little relaxation before they have their next basketball game. And Anthony Davis is going to rest well over the next couple of days. He had a monster night tonight, 29 points on 14 of 19 from the field, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, had 2 steals and a block in this game as well. And after bouncing back of what was arguably his worst game as a Dallas Maverick, going 1 of 9 last night with just the 2 points and colliding with Chet Holmgren, banging knees, and was able to eventually come back in to get the bucket before ultimately exiting last night's game. A really, really terrific performance where AD showed pretty much the entire variety of his game. He was getting into the mid-range. He was getting to the cup. Obviously, the Rockets did not have a real shot blocker with no Steven Adams, no Alperen Sengun. Clint Capella was really their only main big available to them tonight. AD took advantage of that as the Mavericks dominated in the paint. And Anthony Davis is a massive part of that with a really good bounce-back game for him.
Well, our Harrod Jr. Tweeted a video of P.J. Washington's post-game press conference, and P.J. on Anthony Davis's bounce-back game, quote, "They didn't have anyone over there for him."
Sure.
Which is a pretty succinct and accurate assessment of the situation.
Agreed, yeah.
Like, the Rockets had, Jabari Smith is roughly 80's size, but not 80's strength.
Mm-hmm.
KD is obviously the same way. He's taller than AD, but is probably half his weight. And then they had Clint Capella, who is as strong as AD, but is not
old
as quick. And yeah, yes. Clint Capella - old.
Yes.
The Rockets, just without Sengun, without Adams, had no interior presence.
Mm-hmm.
No meaningful interior presence at all. And AD, while most of the rest of the Mavs did a lot of their work in transition, PJ and Coop scored almost all their points on just run-out dunks. It was just so easy for them. AD was the half-court guy that they played through, and a lot of that was in the mid-post, the high post, the low post. He made a lot of mid-range shots, like you kept saying during the game. Like, not a lot of his points were coming right at the rim.
Mm-hmm.
But he did score some around the basket, and they just didn't have anyone. I thought there was a point in the fourth quarter, Dallas was up, like 20 or something, and then Houston cut it to 11. You're like, okay, there's like 7 minutes left in the game, 6-7 minutes left in the game. Maybe it could go one way or the other. And then AD catches the ball at the top of the key and right in the middle of the floor, and Houston doubles him.
Yep. With
Aaron Holiday and like maybe a Kogi or something, like 2 little guys doubling him in the middle of the floor. And it's just swing, wide open corner, PJ Washington. And it's like, of all the times to double team him, why would you double him with two guys that are half his size? That doesn't make any sense. But I mean, I guess that was a pretty good illustration of their desperation. I mean, they just had no answer for him, dude.
And one of those guys that was able to live in the paint tonight and really, I thought, had a great game, especially attacking downhill and consistently attacking tonight. Brandon Williams was really, really good tonight. 20 points, tying a season high for him. He was getting into the paint at will. In fact, had a nice dunk, driving down the lane and finishing with the tomahawk, as you can see in the picture right there. From tonight's game, going 8 of 12 from the field, had 5 assists in this game. But Brandon Williams was really, really good, found his spots on the floor. Him and Ryan Nembhard made conscious efforts to get into the paint. Ryan Nembhard making that a mention last night after the game, getting into the paint, making good things happen, and relentlessly, without the kind of interior presence that the Rockets normally have, the Mavericks made a concerted effort to get deep into the painted area and dominated that part of the floor on the offensive end tonight.
Yeah, not just lack of interior presence outside of Amen, and then Aaron Holiday's a pretty good defender, Okogie's a pretty good defender, but those guys don't have the wheels that Brandon Williams does. They don't have a lot of perimeter presence either right now, dude. And so Brandon Williams just so much faster than everyone on their team. He was able to, like, in one dribble, just blow by guys all night, and that is, against their better defenders. To say nothing of what everyone on the team was taking turns doing to Reed Shepherd. Like, that was tough to watch. I mean, they were just bullying these guys.
Yeah.
And, Brandon Williams has a top gear that Nembhard never will, that Jaden Hardy doesn't, that D'Lo doesn't. B-Will's first couple steps are even quicker than Kyrie's at this point, which is like, I mean, it's unbelievable how fast he is. And so he is able to turn nothing into something in a way that no other guard on the roster can. And I think we talked about this. Maybe it wasn't the last post-game show because last night was brutal, but maybe the game before, like Nembhard was just really good that game. And it's like, okay, well, sometimes you're going to need him. Sometimes you're going to need the qualities that B-Will has. Sometimes you might need D'Lo's catch and shoot, whatever. Like, all three guards have different strengths and weaknesses. And B-Will's was the strength that they needed tonight. The Mavs had 74 points in the paint in this game.
Yeah.
74.
That's got to be in the top 5.
The last time they had that many. Can you guess the year?
2023.
The last time they had at least 74 points in the paint came on November 15th, 2014.
Oh, wow.
Against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I actually remember that game very well. It was at the beginning of the year. It was whenever they were the number 1 offense of all time. They cooked those guys that night. And I am going through the database, and I do not see any numbers that even start with the 7. Like, this is like an all-time paint performance by the Mavs.
And good for them for staying on the attack all night long. 6 guys in double figures for the Mavericks in a game where they led by as many as 22. Some of the other numbers from tonight's game, the Mavericks shot, check this out, 59.8% from the field, a near 60% clip. In fact, they went on 2-point field goals, 42 of 63. That is a 66, or as Bobby would like to say, 67% clip tonight.
Always round up.
That's right, as they went 67% from 2-point field goal range. Mavericks did go 7 of 19 from downtown in this game, going at almost 37% from 3. Rockets shot 34.5% from downtown, and overall shot nearly 51% from the field. But this game was dominating. We'll get to more of it coming up in our next segment. This game was dominated by the Mavericks' ability to force turnovers. In fact, they forced what was 20 turnovers tonight, turning that into 34 points off of the Rockets' turnovers to really get them jump-started, especially in transition. P.J. Washington leading the theft department with the 5 steals that he had. So a quality all-around game in a number of areas with a lot of guys with really good contributions to get a complete, thorough, dominating ass-whooping over the Houston Rockets tonight in an I-45 beatdown for the Mavericks to improve to 9-16 after 25 games on the season. Let's take our first break here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. When we come back, we'll get to the turning point of this game, which was a dominant third quarter that got jump-started by the Mavericks defense. All that and more coming up next on the DLLS Mavs postgame show.
So I was up at Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market in Plano earlier today, along with John Radigan and Jeff Wilson from the DLLS Rangers show. A few diehards came out as well. It was great to see T.O. and many other viewers that went out there. I loaded up my cart, but before I did, I loaded up on free samples. They had a pitmaster in the parking lot cooking up ribeye, some duck breast with a couple different kinds of seasonings on it, just giving away for free. It's a tailgate. Anyone that goes to the store, you can just taste some free samples. It's awesome. There's 9 locations, and we're going to be at the Louisville location next Saturday. I'm really fired up for that. We'll give a little more information here pretty soon. But Wild Fork Foods, everything is blast frozen. You were going to be the first person that thought everything is reasonably priced. They have butchers on site that can give you really good advice, tips and tricks on how to prepare that meat. So check them out at wildforkfoods.com. Again, 9 area locations, or just go to wildforkfoods.com for more information, pricing, and the whole kit and caboodle.
And when you go out there, you want to look good. And when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you want to show it off, especially to your family and friends. That's where Branded Bills premium headwear and apparel comes in. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. If you're looking for some gear to help your brand stand apart from the crowd, Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear in the game. You can start your custom order today with Branded Bills, and they will help you create the exact custom apparel that you need, know, and love. In fact, they've got a partnership with over 40 colleges as well, including their campus collection that includes TCU, Texas, and the Big 12 champion Texas Tech Red Raiders as well. So if you want to get your gear with Branded Bills, your Texas Tech to celebrate, you can do it with brandedbills.com. So head to brandedbills.com, use code BBDLLS for 15% off your first order. That's brandedbills.com. Use code BBDLLS for 15% off your first order with Branded Bills premium headwear and apparel today. Welcome back to the DLLS Mavs post-game show as the Mavericks take out the Houston Rockets 122-109. Bobby cooking Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets, and we're going to be doing some cooking here pretty soon ourselves.
We are. I walked out of the Plano location of Wild Fork Foods today with a few frozen duck breasts. It was great. I also got some meatballs with not just beef. There's some lamb in there too.
Oh, wow.
And
Fancy.
I love lamb.
Let's go.
I also got some garlic bread that John Radigan said is the best bread I'll ever have in my entire life, which I'm excited about, but it's also kind of bittersweet because if it's like, well, if this is the best, like, then nothing can ever compare, you know?
I mean, it sounds like Wild Fork got the goods.
It sounds like it, so I'm really looking forward to it. I have some trivia about P.J. Washington.
Oh, I'm always here for P.J. Washington trivia because I'm the president of the P.J. Washington fan club.
That's right. So first, actually, okay, so hang on. April 4th, 2002, the Mavs had 76 points in the paint against the Clippers. So there are 2 games in the database. The play-by-play database goes all the way back to 96-97. There are only 2 times ever that the Mavs have had more points in the paint in a game than they had tonight. And tonight they played the Rockets, the number 2 defense in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So PJ tonight, 14 points, 7 boards, 5 steals. Okay? 14-7-5. He becomes the 6th Maverick this millennium to have at least 14 points, 7 assists, and 5 steals in a game. Sorry, 7 rebounds, not assists. He had, how many assists did he have? Doesn't matter. 7 rebounds and 5 steals.
Okay. Name the people who have done that.
Do you think you can do it?
Josh Howard.
Josh Howard did. That is, wow, 1 for 1, okay.
Sean Marion.
No.
Oh, wow, okay. Michael Finley.
No. Feel free, chat, play along.
Oh, geez.
Now, Andre, it's actually very cheap. The duck was like $7 per breast or something. It's really reasonable, and
nice.
That might even be high.
Oh man, I'm already over 2 after the Josh Howard one. Oh, geez.
Luca, Sarah with the guest, diehard Sarah. Luca did do it 1 time.
Yeah, 5 steals in a game.
He had 5 steals in a game against the Nuggets. Granted, it did go to overtime, but still.
Oh, okay. Luca was not going to be a choice for me, but I mean, cool. Dirk.
Dirk did it, yes.
Okay.
Dirk did it 1 time.
So how many we got left?
So we have Luca, we have Josh Howard, and we have Dirk, and we have PJ. There are 2 left. What? Monte Ellis did not do it. That is a really good guess. Johnny guesses Kyrie. No, that is also a good guess, but no. 1 person did it 1 time, and 1 person did it 3 times.
Jeez.
Michael Finley did do it, but it was in the 90s, which does not count.
Because it's this millennium. Yeah, I'm fresh out.
All right. One was DeLon Wright, who he appears on a lot of these lists.
Like the random list. Like the real random list. Okay.
That was the second game of the season, Dallas at New Orleans. That was a peak night for Bobby Carella. Okay. Watching the Luka DeLon Wright backcourt just completely carve up the Pelicans. That was great.
Okay.
And then the guy that did it 3 times was Jason Kidd. Yeah, a few people in the chat.
Oh, Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
I can't believe you didn't guess Kidd.
That's a great point.
So that's a pretty all-time PJ Washington performance.
One of these things is not like the other DeLon Wright on that list, but
wow.
I'm just saying.
He was their marquee acquisition that summer. Okay?
Bro, we had Jason Kidd, Luka, Dirk, PJ on that list, and here comes DeLon Wright.
I feel like adding PJ to that list is also Polar Bear in Arlington because it's a bunch of Hall of Famers.
I can do that. I'm the president of the PJ Washington fan club. I can do that.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do here. Let's get to the turning point of tonight's game, and it was a dominant third quarter by the Dallas Mavericks. Let's fast forward. The game was tied at 57 at halftime. PJ did not do something very good. He fouled Kevin Durant at the end of the first half and allowed Kevin Durant to knock down 3 free throws to tie it at 57 going into halftime. But the Mavericks came out and put it all together on the defensive end. I was thoroughly unimpressed by the fact that the Rockets did not value the basketball. And that's a lot of thanks to what the Mavericks were able to do from a turnover standpoint. The Mavericks, who were down 68-65 with 7:24 left, proceeded to go on what would be a 14-0 run to turn that 3-point deficit into an 11-point lead with about 4.5 minutes left in that third. And that was on the strength, Bobby, of the live ball turnovers that were being forced by the Mavericks. We talked about PJ Washington quite a bit so far. He had back-to-back dunks in transition off steals and turnovers, and the Mavericks really took it to them. In fact, finished that third quarter 16 of 22 from the field. A lot of that damage being done in transition. They forced 6 turnovers in that period. Anthony Davis was really good with 13 points as the Mavericks outscored the Rockets in that period 13-0 in the fast break department, and Dallas really broke things open with their ability to create havoc, getting in the passing lanes and turning the Rockets over, which Houston is prone to do. And the Mavericks, who haven't been good in forcing turnovers as a team this year, really made that a point in the third quarter for sure.
Yeah, in the third quarter, the Mavs had 13 fast break points. The Rockets had 0. For the game, the Mavs had 28 fast break points. The Rockets had 8. The Mavs had 34 points off turnovers. The Rockets had 14. I don't know. I can try and find the last time that they had more points off turnovers than they had tonight. That's not a super tracked stat. But my God, it was run out dunk, run out dunk, run out dunk. And that kind of thing can be demoralizing, you know, but also it's just like Reed Shepherd is just he's not that guy in the same way that we were saying about Coop and even D'Lo whenever they were running the Mavs offenses.
You hear that, Cato?
You have to have really high-level playmaking in the NBA if you're, KD is the kind of guy that can bring the ball up the floor and can initiate some stuff. But for the most part, he wants to catch the ball in his spot and then diagnose what's going on from there and make a decision. And he was doing a lot of that in the first half. To his credit, he was unbelievable. It was a pleasure to watch. But I was very happy the Mavs didn't double team him. That was awesome.
You said not to double team him.
Thank you for not doing that, J-Kid. But he needs to be set up and in the same way that AD does. And part of the Mavs' problem last night against OKC was Nembhard and B-Will and D'Lo and Coop and everyone, Najee, everyone else on the roster was taking turns trying to get AD the ball in the post, and it's a lot harder to do than it looks. And the Rockets could not do it at all. And then, Amen would beat his guy off the dribble and then get in the lane, and no one else on the team was doing anything.
Right.
Amen was playing way faster than everyone else on the Rockets. So he's now 2 feet in the paint, but he's picked up his dribble and he's going 1-2 step. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to throw it over there and hope someone gets it.
Yeah.
And that never worked. He made a lot of really ill-advised passes in that way. Only ended the game with 6 turnovers. Felt like he committed about 15. Basketball's so easy whenever you can just dunk it. It's so easy.
They were able to get out and run. This team is really good in the fast break this season. they really took the Rockets' formula in terms of their swarming defense and turned it on its head. I mean, the Mavericks still are a top 7 defense, coming into tonight. Obviously, the Rockets and how good they've been. They were severely shorthanded. Mavericks were shorthanded as well. But I love the way that the Mavericks came out and attacked in that third quarter and really forced the issue in a number of ways. And the personification of that, especially on the offensive end tonight, was Anthony Davis. After what was a very disappointing game last night, you could tell, Bobby, from early on in this game, the point of emphasis for the Mavericks offensively, get the ball to AD, let him go to work, let him get into a rhythm a little bit, and then be able to work on it from there. And tonight, he had the mid-range jumper going quite a bit. You saw as the third quarter started to go on, he started to attack the rim a little bit more. But tonight, Bobby, he was living in the mid-range and knocking down at times some not great shots that he took, but other times was pretty much in rhythm and hitting the kind of mid-range jumpers that he's capable of. And they were spamming the AD mid-range tonight, and it was working for Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't build the house out of mid-range jumpers.
For sure.
But he had it going tonight, and they couldn't really stop him. And so, yeah, keep doing it. I did see, so this is in the J-Kidd era, this is the third most points off turnovers they've had in a game. They had 36 against the Kings last year in February 10th.
That dumpster
fire. That was a cursed game. That was the game that Gafford got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had 35 against the Pistons in 2024. Otherwise, this is the third most points off turnovers they've had in 4.5 seasons ish. That's a lot. It's a lot, and you're gonna get a lot of easy points, especially when you're able to get out and run and transition. Please like and comment and subscribe to DLLS Sports while you're here as well. If you haven't already liked the video, go ahead and do this. The easiest way to support us here at DLLS Sports is to like the video. Coming up here in just a couple of moments, we'll have our DLLS Mavs beat writer Harrod Jr. joining us live from the AAC after a dominant win tonight by the Mavericks. Look, good win for them because washing the taste out of their mouths last night. They got into Dallas at 3 a.m. this morning. Obviously, a quick turnaround from the game last night against Oklahoma City to really put that game behind them, flush it down the toilet, and beat a very good Rockets team to be able to now give themselves a chance to rest a little bit before they take on the Brooklyn Nets. And the most difficult back-to-back of the season this team played was this one here with OKC and Houston on a road home back-to-back nonetheless. And to come out with this kind of dominant performance, focusing in on what they were able to control and punishing the lack of size in the interior for the Houston Rockets tonight. To me, this feels like, in a lot of ways, their most complete win of the season. I know folks will look at the Denver game and how well offensively that they played against Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. I thought defensively they really got after it, and it wasn't just Anthony Davis blocking shots or P.J. Washington getting steals. Everyone was getting into the adding. Brandon Williams' team had talked about that during his post-game interview, was that the Mavericks locked in together as a unit on the defensive end and really gave the Rockets problems, and which is kind of the formula that you've wanted to see from Dallas against a team that is as good offensively as Houston is that everyone was tied in together and made it happen tonight, and when it was a really collectively good effort on both ends, especially on the defensive end for this team. Let's take our next break here on the DLLS Mavs post-game show. When we come back, we welcome in our DLLS Mavs beat writer Harrod Jr. live from the American Airlines Center to get his thoughts and perspective on tonight's win, plus what Jason Kidd and others had to say about the victory as well. All that and more coming up next. To Michelob Ultra or not to Michelob Ultra? That is never a question. You should always enjoy Michelob Ultra and do it responsibly. It's a superior, smooth taste worth playing for, and that is why it is the official beer sponsor of the NBA and of the DLS Mavs podcast. Whether it is the sweet, sweet taste of victory, the sorrowful agony of defeat, or kind of the indifference of a tie, I don't know. Some teams tie.
I guess you can't tie every now and then for sure.
Yeah, you can mark the occasion with the Michelob Ultra or 5. It's only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, so it's never going to fill you up. It's not going to bloat you. You're not going to feel gross about it the night of or the morning after. So just drink to your heart's content. And again, do so responsibly. Michelob Ultra, a superior, smooth taste worth playing for and worth celebrating like a big, giant victory dub. Check them out wherever you purchase your beer, and that's why it's the official beer sponsor of the NBA.
The World Cup is back in North America for the first time since 1994 with the biggest tournament field ever with 48 teams, and you want to go. I want to go, and the best way that you can go is to get your tickets with Game Time. With Game Time, you're able to pick out the perfect seat with panoramic seat views. They've also got the lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Also, you can find the best deals, whether it's at Dallas Stadium, whether it's in Boston, whether it's in Jersey. We want you to go in Dallas for sure to watch Argentina, Croatia, and England get down in the World Cup in 2026. So you want to take the guesswork out of buying your soccer tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Remember, terms apply. You get create an account and use code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. Bobby, what time is it?
You already know, Kevin. It's game time.
Welcome back to the DLLS Mavs post-game show. Kevin Gray alongside Bobby Corella here as the Mavericks get it done 122-109 over the Houston Rockets for their fourth win in the last 5 games. As we welcome in our DLLS Mavs beat writer, Harrod Jr. live from the American Airlines Center. You can find him on X at Ron Knows Sports. I do want to make this quick note for those who were joining us after watching the Big Ten championship game. Indiana with the upset over Ohio State, 13-10. They are the Big Ten Conference champions and continue their perfect season at 13-0. So congratulations to the Indiana Hoosiers who win the Big Ten championship and clinch the #1 seed in the college football playoffs. So thank you all for joining us here after watching that football game. Ron, big night at the American Airlines Center. The Mavericks put together a dominant second half to be able to take out Kevin Durant and the Rockets.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis took accountability after having 2 points in his last game, came tonight and just absolutely put BTA to Clint Capella. I said earlier in the game that Clint Capella couldn't hold him a decade ago. He dang sure couldn't hold him tonight. Eventually, Ime Udoka just went with just a small lineup and said, maybe let's try to outscore the Mavericks and just kind of forget the defense at some points. Jabari Smith, you get a chance. And Thompson, had some switch moments on Anthony Davis. He was just dominant tonight, and he seemed, pretty good and, pretty upbeat in the locker room after the game.
Yeah, a team that's now won 4 of their last 5 games. They're going to have a nice little long break before they welcome in Brooklyn on Friday. What did Jason Kidd have to say after tonight's victory?
Well, Jason Kidd talked about a bevy of players. Talked about Brandon Williams, called Brandon Williams a Ferrari. I kind of asked about, what type of skill set kind of does Brandon Williams have? It seemed like he always gets 2 feet in the paint. How important is that for this team? He says it's very important. He says, him and Ryan Nembhard have the 2 different speeds, where Brandon Williams is the Ferrari of the team and Ryan Nembhard is the EV. He said he doesn't get paid by any brand, so he wouldn't name it Tesla or Chevrolet. He wouldn't give it a brand, but he says Ryan Nembhard is the EV of the point guards. He's nice and steady, but when you plug him in, he's ready to go. So I thought that kind of summarized the game, because the 2 point guards really helped create a lot of impact on the game, with B. Will coming off the bench, having his impact, and Ryan Nembhard, of course, starting the game.
It's funny to call him an EV.
Yeah, that's still
compared to a Ferrari.
That's still
I respect it though.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to get car talk.
You can call him
tonight.
A tricycle or anything.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, no, for sure. I didn't think it was going to get car talk tonight from Jason Kidd. But hey, 5s are good right now, so why not? What else stood out to you from tonight's performance as the Mavericks went on the second night of a back-to-back?
Well, one, just the AAC standing ovation for everyone while Rockets fans tried to scream for their players. It was instantly overpowered. It was, Dallas always seems to dominate Houston and everything. But tonight, not only did the crowd dominate the Houston fans, the Mavericks dominated the Rockets. I also thought just PJ Washington came back, missed a bunch of games. He got a chance to kind of talk about the viral video of him stepping on the ball. He said he was like, man, this can't be happening. He said he was working throughout the offseason on strengthening his ankles. So just to happen was kind of devastating. But he said because of his offseason training, he was able to get back a little bit quicker than maybe if he did not do that over the offseason. But he looked, if you would not have known that PJ Washington was hurt the last 4 games, you would have saw him tonight and would not have known there was a difference. He was good on the defensive end. He was kind of Kevin Durant's primary defender. He had some fast break dunks. He provided a lot of energy. And then in the locker room after the game, he's yelling with Najee Marshall about the Ohio State Indiana game. So the vibes are high in the locker room too. PJ Washington is back, everybody, and clearly he brought a lot of energy with him.
That he did, and the Mavericks have missed that intensity from him as one of the more primary defenders on a team's opponent's best player on a night-to-night basis. He stuck with it. Kevin Durant had a big first half, 20 points. Was much quieter, bless you, in the second half against the Dallas Mavericks. So,
Tony, we got to get a humidifier in this place.
Yes, please.
I am
The
like
air
I
is
can barely
sticky.
breathe through my nose right now, dude.
Yeah.
you guys are doing your best to hang in there. Just like all of you are hanging in there with us right now here on the DLLS.
Let us know how humid or dry is it where you're watching. drop the air humidity percentage in chat. Let us know.
Oh, wow. You can drop your flag in there,
Stein
too.
would love that.
And exactly. Someone from Australia is watching us as well. So shout out to the good folks in Australia for watching us live here on the show. Brandon Williams also had a big night tonight as well. 20 points. My man Bunnies tonight putting down dunks in the lane. Brandon Williams had himself a night tying the season high with 20 points tonight as well.
Yeah, B. Will was electric. I mean, I thought he kind of shifted the game in the third quarter. I mean, it's a really important skill in basketball, player that can get the ball in the paint. He did that multiple times where he drove past defenders. It was one play where he got Durant to kind of jump for thinking trying to get a block when under Durant hit a floater. It was one of the many plays in the paint that he made. Of course, he got the steal, ran through the overhead pass back to PJ Washington for the slam. There were just so many opportunities where he just got 2 feet in the paint. The defense collapsed, and through that, the Mavs scored buckets. And they needed that in a game, I guess, against a Rockets team that has been playing well.
And with that, obviously, you got contributions from PJ Washington, Anthony Davis with a massive bounce back game, Brandon Williams, Cooper Flagg played well in this game. It just felt like, in a lot of ways, with 6 guys in double figures, one of their more complete wins of the season in every area, whether it was offensively, defensively, in transition. A lot of complimentary basketball felt like was being played tonight in a number of areas for this Mavericks team.
Yeah, the Mavs were very balanced tonight. I mean, they were going against one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the league. And while the Houston Rockets still were able to get just a lot of total rebounds, I think the Mavs, held out pretty good, compared to one of the top teams. But even again with that, with Washington coming back, it gives them a little bit more size. Najee Marshall just continues to play well. I mean, he's had I have to look at the stat sheet, but I think his last 5 games, he's been extremely efficient, which wasn't even necessarily like a part of his game going into early in his career. It's something over the last 5 games he's turned around. Najee Marshall's played the 2, the 3, the 4 for the Mavs, whatever the team has asked for him to do, and he's kind of just fit in and found a role. Like you need him to make a 3, he'll make a 3. You need him to rebound well this game, he'll rebound. You need him to pass the ball well, he'll pass the ball well. Whatever the Mavs are asking of Najee Marshall, he's been doing, and he's kind of been like the unsung hero. I mean, because Ron Nimhard is the fun guy the fans want to hear. Everyone loves Cooper Flagg. Everyone's happy that PJ Washington is back. But Najee Marshall again stacks another good game, and it's like he's kind of the unsung hero of this team.
Yeah, going 6 of 8 from the field, 15 points, was a +5 again tonight. He's put together a nice 7-8 games for Dallas and continuing to give them a spark, whether it be off the bench in the starting lineup. The Mavericks made an interesting decision tonight, even with Klay Thompson being out. They left Najee Marshall in the starting lineup with PJ Washington coming back, and Max Christie came off the bench tonight.
He outplayed Max for sure.
And he did. And so we thought during the pregame show there was a little bit of a curious decision by Jason Kidd. Obviously, he felt good about what he was going to put out there as a lineup was concerned, and Najee Marshall paid it off in a big way tonight. So good on Jason Kidd for feeling good about that lineup and going with it and being rewarded by his players with the performance that they had tonight. Because we wasn't feeling the decision to keep Max Christie out of the starting line, especially with the way he's been playing. But clearly, Kidd feels good about what Najee Marshall's putting together right now.
Yeah, and Amin Thompson, who's just, a player that I think a lot of NBA fans love to watch. I mean, he's one of the most athletic players in the NBA. I mean, he struggled today. He got in foul trouble early. He really is known to be one of the best, defenders in the league. But a lot of players, including Brandon Williams and Najee Marshall, were able to kind of get past Amin Thompson. And without Sengun in the game, Amin Thompson couldn't afford to play bad. And when I kind of saw that, okay, he's struggling a little bit, I'm trying to think, okay, the Mavs can really win this because the number 2 guy in the game with Sengun out is Amin Thompson. And since the Mavs kind of caused him to one struggle from the field, but then also get into foul trouble, he started pressing, and then the Mavs kind of got into him. And this is also one of the more physical games. I mean, the Mavs have played. I mean, there were so many dive on the ground for loose balls, and there's so many coaches challenges and long timeouts just to kind of slow the game down. This is a game that it's not like the Mavs just were able just to completely out physical the Rockets. The Rockets were fighting in this game. The Mavs just came out on top. It's kind of like the Rocky movies when maybe you take a couple of hits, but then the Mavs hit that final uppercut to win that game.
Bobby, I thought one of the things that was really good in this game, the Mavericks did a lot of defending without fouling. In fact, the Mavericks didn't pick up their first defensive foul until an early part of the second quarter. I believe Anthony Davis was the first one to commit a defensive foul for the Mavericks. And I thought that was really good because being able to play with that kind of physicality, defending without fouling and putting, the Rockets on the line for easy points, I thought was really key for them to continue to have the game flow for them the way that they wanted to, but also continue to disrupt Houston without having to resort to fouling them throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, I don't think they really well, okay, without Sengun, without Adams, without the guys that they were missing tonight, without Eason, without some other guys, you don't have to defend them very physically. Like, you don't have to get physical with Jabari Smith. You don't want to get physical with KD. With KD, all you want to do is just move your feet and just hope that he misses. Like,
sure.
That is it. If you try and do anything else, he's going to destroy you. I mean, he had a great game tonight, and I thought the Mavs defended him really well. They made him work really hard.
His shots were tough, yeah.
Yeah, just move your feet against these guys. That's it. You don't got to bump them. You don't got to try and shove them off their spot. Now, if Adams and Sengun are out there, they're really big and strong guys, so you have to kind of bump them and try and get lower than them and bump them off their spot. But yeah, you don't have to get physical. Just move your feet. Just be technically sound and just be fundamentally sound and just force a tough shot.
And they did that.
Definitely.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, definitely. Like, Steve Adams is one of the most physical, offensive rebounders in the history of the NBA. When you're out the guy that leads the NBA in offensive rebound with 4.8 a game, you automatically are going to get an advantage. And Tari Eason, like Bobby was kind of getting into, is one of the more physical drivers of the basketball. They're out kind of two of their enforcer type players, which means you don't have to get as physical. And with like a Durant, who did he had 20 points in the first half, but in the second half, when he started to slow down a little bit, there was no one else that could create a shot. But I know it's something else we talked about in the pregame show, is that if Durant doesn't have it going, if Reed Shepard, somebody doesn't, light up off the bench, they have no real shot creators, especially with a bunch of their players out. And the Mavs were able just to sustain that and kind of have all their games where they had multiple players in double figures tonight.
Yeah, the Mavericks look like the fresher team on the second night of a back-to-back. I mean, Phoenix traveled from Phoenix to Dallas, and I know that Oklahoma City obviously was like a 30, 35-minute flight, but at the same time, in that third quarter, you could just tell, I mean, the sloppiness at which the Houston Rockets was playing with, a lot of that had to do with the Mavericks' defense and getting in the passing lanes, but the lack of care for the basketball was evident in that third quarter, and that's what really doomed them in this particular game. Before we let you go, is there anything else that you want to let us know before we let you go tonight?
The Mavs do not play again until Friday. And PJ Washington was asked, what is he going to do? He said sleep. So I think that just kind of shows you where the Mavs are. They've played so many games. And that was so real. I felt that. Yeah, I just felt that from him. When he said that, everyone kind of sighed because everyone knows. Like, of course, they'll practice too. NBA teams really don't have that much time to practice, but because the Mavs aren't going to Vegas, they're going to have a little bit of a space of time. So because of that, they're going to practice, they're going to sleep, and as Peter Washington also said, they're going to recover. And like Anthony Davis said, hopefully they get Daniel Gafford back kind of once this rest kind of happens.
0 teams in the league have played more games than the Mavs.
That's right.
0.
That's right.
Oh, really?
League high 25 games after tonight. yeah, they need the rest. This is a team that's played a lot of games, played a ton of games at home, and now you get to kind of assess where you are after the 25 games and figure out how to move forward from there, because there are still 57 of these bad boys left of this regular season. Yes, Tanner, 57 left. Ron, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will talk to you on Monday here on DLLS Mavs, man. Appreciate it.
See you, everybody.
Bye, Ron.
Bye, Ron.
You can find him on X at Ron No Sports. He's our DLLS Mavs beat writer, Ron Harrod Jr. Let's take our final break here on our post-game show tonight. When we come back, we welcome in our national NBA insider, Mark Stein, live from the American Airlines Center, where he had a pretty damn good seat next to the GOAT at the American Airlines Center. He'll tell us about it next. But we want you to become part of our DLLS Sports family. The easiest way that you can do that right now is to scan that QR code that you see on your screen and become a diehard member. Or you can go to alldlls.com/diehard to become a diehard member there as well, where you get a free t-shirt upon sign up. You get 20% off of our events. You get merchandise discounts. You get to be part of our member-only Discord as well, where we talk about everything from movies to pro wrestling to the Stars to the Rangers to the Mavericks, the Cowboys. We talk about it all in our member-only Discord. And you have a chance to get access to all of our premium content, including the writings of Ron Harrod Jr. covering your Dallas Mavericks, Clarence E. Hill Jr. and Ali Jawad covering your Dallas Cowboys. Also, Jeff Wilson covering your Texas Rangers. It's hot stove season as the Rangers try to make some moves to improve on their roster going into 2026. And Sam Nessler and Sean Shapiro covering, Bobby, the hottest team in the National Hockey League in the Dallas Stars, who are absolutely cooking in the NHL right now. They are absolutely steamrolling everything in their path. If you want to check out the best Stars podcast in the game, I suggest you check out the DLLS Stars podcast.
Can I just slide in a surprise announcement?
Oh.
We have hats.
Oh, we got hats.
We got hats. T.O.'s tweeting about it. So kind of the cat is out of the bag. If you go to our merch store, you don't have to be a diehard to buy the merch, but you do save 20% if you are a diehard. And you just, you can either search hat, because they're kind of like soft launched right now. So if you search DLLS hat, then we got 5 options to choose from. Or you can just search hat and you'll see a couple of them. A few of them are real nice. They're real nice.
They are real nice. Shout out to
Brandon Bills, right?
Yes. The collaboration with Brandon Bills there. So alldlls.com to check out everything that you need to know and love about DFW sports through the eyes of us here at DLLS Sports, as we are mere dozens away from reaching 38,000 subscribers. We are. Mavericks clobber the Houston Rockets tonight at the AAC. Let's go back out to the American Airlines Center right now and welcome in our national NBA insider, where we dial at Stein Line with
he's famous.
With our guy Mark Stein.
Folks,
yeah, we are so
famous.
back, and we are so back. The adjustment of the camera, we are back.
How are we, guys?
Hello. Let's just cut to the chase. You had a front row seat, or excuse me, not a front row seat, a perched seat next to the GOAT tonight, who was in the building to see his Dallas Mavericks beat up on Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets.
That was a stunt double.
Come on, Stein, quit playing with us, man. We got the video. You're literally sitting there next to Dirk and his son and Scott Tomlin.
What's so crazy is I was so much farther back in the suite than it looks like there, and I was sure I was out of the shot. And when it was over, Scooter Tomlin came right to me and goes, you were in the shot the whole time.
The entire time.
Great. I'm like, great. But hey, man, look at young Moxie Nowitzki wearing his Cooper Flagg jersey. He was pumped, did not want to be disturbed. He was locked in on the game. Locked in.
He looks so much like Dirk, but he also looks so much like his mom.
He looks like his mom. Yes.
It is so weird. He looks exactly like both of his parents.
Yes, no, for sure. He is a combo baby.
The young man loves his hoops. I will say that.
Is he going to be like 14 feet tall, or what's the situation? Like, what year is he coming to the draft?
Right.
I have not asked those questions.
All right. I was going to make sure they have a
He does.
thing.
He likes to he likes to focus on the game. Doesn't need me pestering him with nonsensical inquiries. Is that almost 500 people I see watching after this victory?
That's
It
right.
is.
That's
It,
right.
it they are.
That's right. You're
Deservedly
right, Sarah.
so. Fun night.
He looks so grown up. We've watched Dirk Nowitzki and his family grow throughout the years, and it was. Look, man, I'm not gonna lie. It's good to see Dirk at the AAC tonight.
The thing is,
25
I don't think people realize like how much he has going on. The guys, I mean, I always joke with him like, this Amazon situation is so cool for me because I can legitimately say that I get to be his teammate on this NBA TV project that he's dived into. But like, he also has this role for FIBA. Like, he went pretty much straight from last week's show to Geneva for a bunch of FIBA board meetings. And then like he's back here and he was in the AAC like almost immediately after getting back in town. And it's like, when you get old, it's not easy to flip those time zones. You guys know that I love to make my escapes to England even during the season. And like when I go to England, I try to stay up till 4 or 5 in the morning so I don't get too far off US time. So when I come back, I'm on, I can make that adjustment. Dirk goes back and forth. So like he'll say, "Oh, I got to do a commercial in Germany." Oh, earlier this season, he did like a commercial in Germany and flew all the way straight to LA and did the show the next day. And I was like, I don't know how you change your I don't know how you change your clock so fast. To go from, Germany to LA is a significant time difference.
The key is hydration and a good diet, which is something that I think we all pale in comparison to the GOAT too.
But here's the other thing too. I think the key, and I know we're going way off track here, but this is a subject I'm very passionate about. One thing I love about living in Dallas is we have some late night flights to England. So when I fly to England, I always take like a 9, 10, or even 11 p.m. departure because it gives me a fighting chance to fall asleep. And then when we land, can somewhat hit the ground running. But most of these flights to European destinations from the States, they leave at like 5 p.m., which is the worst time because you're in the air for 7, 8, 9 hours. By the time you land, you haven't slept. It's a whole thing. So
now the key is to on those late afternoon flights to enjoy several Michelob Ultras at the airport so that you can doze off a little bit on the plane. Yeah.
And download many DLLS podcasts in your phones. You can watch them all.
The whole catalog. I celebrate the entire catalog. Mark, we were having a bit of a conversation before the show started. Can we spin the wheel tonight, or is that an after loss thing? I mean, we were introducing Tankathon 24 hours ago, but now here they are, winners of 4 out of 5.
Yeah, and it's a great point because we certainly last night, after watching the Thunder just punish this team in a number of ways, like I don't think we imagined them turning around on the second night of a back-to-back and beating the Rockets in this manner when the Rockets are pretty much the second or at worst third best team in the West. But the Rockets came here, no Şengün and no Adams. They were much smaller than normal, and we already know they're playing without Fred VanVleet. So difficult situation for them to play, the way they're going. And sorry, I'm just checking something. To play the way the Rockets couldn't play their customary game, and I think they faced a Mavs team that played much faster than they expected, and that combination gave Houston a lot of problems. But yeah, that's my long-winded way of saying I don't know the answer because this is a feel-good night, and they've won 4 out of 5, and they've beat some pretty good teams within those 4 wins. To win in Denver, beat a pretty hot Miami team, beat the Rockets like this. I mean, what do the people say? What do the people want? Do they want us to do the spin no matter what, or are they saying we shouldn't? Because like yesterday we kind of promised that we were going to do it every day from now until mid-May. I don't know what the answer is.
Not a lot of thoughts one way or the other, honestly. I think there's just a lot of happy folks tonight that the Mavericks got a win. We've got one vote that says yes, do the Tankathon spin. That's the only one I've seen so far. So
my vote's no, just for the record.
Tanner,
Why, Tanner?
Losses.
Why, Tanner?
Because it should only be losses. Like the Mavs just won, and we're going to spin their game out of the play-in, and we're going to do a spin for.
I mean, Bobby,
which
you're
means
the
we should probably do it then because they made the play-in and got the number 1 overall pick. So maybe we should.
We're willing them to victory.
Yeah, like we're willing them to like the idea that maybe they could get into do it. Let's do it. In fact, let's do it then.
Wait. Bobby, you are the highest ranking officer here. Should we do it or should we only do it on losses?
Let's just do it because the power of positive thinking. It's good vibes.
Okay, for the record, I am producing the rest of this podcast in protest.
Okay.
So say that.
Wait. Okay. Oh, wait. Don't hit it. No.
I haven't.
Tanner, in all the time we've worked together, I've never seen Tanner like throw down a gauntlet like this. Should we?
We're not gonna stop him.
Well, no, but I'm saying, do we need to factor that in and take maybe we shouldn't do? Maybe we should only do it on losses.
No, it's okay. I got outvoted by.
Well, a few people have said no. Andrew says no. Ben says no. Lone Star Rob says no.
The indecisiveness happening right now in these last 30 seconds.
I think it feels like the basketball gods don't want us to spin this wheel.
All right.
Let's take a vote among the 4 of us, even though it's an
we
even
already
number.
did.
Sports guy Tio said go Tanner, which makes me think he agrees with me.
He's agreeing
and
with
he's gifted like 1,000 subscriber memberships.
That's right.
So his vote counts for a lot.
Staying on business.
No spin.
All right.
No spin.
All right. No spin.
No spin. No spin. Way to stand on business, Tanner.
All right, I'm making a note of this in the doc. I'm 12-6-25. No spin because chat said so.
No, because Tanner said so.
I would like to be noted in that.
Yes.
note.
Okay. Yes.
No spin because Tanner
and chat, not just
chat
me.
said so. With the sad face.
Sarah says spin the wheel is a no because it's your reward for losing.
Agreed. Yeah, it gives us something to be happy about when they lose.
Speaking of happy, Stein, this is a Mavericks team not only happy with the win, but they're happy they're going to have some time off. In fact, they don't get on the floor until Friday when they take on the Brooklyn Nets here in Dallas. As best as you can you kind of outline what the next 5-6 days could potentially look like for the team, which I'm sure it will involve a lot of rest?
They're going to definitely take tomorrow off, and then during the week they will take 1 full day off and otherwise practice 3 times before the Nets come to town. That was the way it was explained to me. So they will have
practice time in the middle of the season?
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's why you don't want to make it like 3 days worth of rest, because you also don't get these opportunities during the season. So again, tomorrow completely off. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, one of those days will be off. 3 full practices and at least 1 pretty strenuous one. And then they got the Nets in here.
Yeah, you don't find a lot of practice time during the regular season. So 3 practices in a week is, might as well be training camp all over again at that rate. Anything else that stood out from you tonight before we let you go on this Saturday evening?
AD, obviously great bounce back game. I think he had a point to prove and did so. And that guard combination, like we've talked long before the season, we talked about playmaking, ball handling, dribbling, passing, on-ball creation. And you heard Jason Kidd tonight. I'm sure Ron probably mentioned how Jason Kidd called Brandon Williams a Ferrari in terms of the speed injection he brings off the bench. And they've just got an interesting combo with Ryan Nebhard on a 2-way, Brandon Williams, who started last season on a 2-way. They've fashioned a two-pronged point guard situation. 20-something games into the season. If I am allowed a selfish plug, I would ask you to read my Ryan Nebhard feature on my Substack. If you haven't already, I put a lot into it, and I think that it's been, I've been getting this question so much. How do it wasn't 60 guys, there were only 59 in the June draft, but how do 59 guys get picked ahead of Ryan Nebhard? And I went into great detail to kind of explain that, look, late in the second round, in the 50s, there were teams that wanted to draft him at that point. At that point, having lasted until the 50s, and he knew how bad the Mavericks had been chasing Nebhard since the Chicago pre-draft camp. And my story kind of explains all that, goes into what his draft night was like. But really, at the end of the second round, Ryan Nebhard and his agents, Jafar Chufani and Todd Ramasar, they were getting calls from teams, we want to draft your guy. And at that point in the draft, they were saying, no, we'd rather be undrafted. We know we have a two-way waiting in Dallas. He wanted to end up in Dallas. And for a franchise that I think we can politely say not a lot has gone right over the past 9-10 months, the Ryan Nebhard story is a good story, and one where the chips definitely did fall the Mavericks' way.
A couple other notable former Mavs whom are represented by Todd Ramasar, or I guess whom Todd Ramasar represents. AJ Lawson, longtime Mavs two-way player and then on a full-time contract. And how about Omax Prosper? And, of course, at the time, correct, on draft night, Omax was still on the team.
Yeah, hell of a job by the scouting department, with especially, Brandon Williams last year, now Ryan Nembhard this year. Hell of a job by them to be able to find a gem like this. It's funny because you mentioned, some of the stuff with the pre-draft work. Ime Udoka said during his pregame availability comments, the Rockets loved him, but one of the things that, kind of dissuaded them based off of how they felt about their team going into the year was his size. And it wasn't about anything about the player himself. It's just they felt like, from a size perspective, it just wasn't the right fit. So
I said I think it was either the night of the draft or the day after. I said if he was like 2 inches taller, he'd have been a first-round pick.
Yeah. So again,
and look, he's been playing like a first-round pick.
Oh yeah,
now, for sure.
It's only been 5-6 games. We can't get too carried away. But you see by the way he carries himself on the floor, he believes it's going to continue. He is unflappable out there. Jason Kidd said over and over the calm that he brings to running a team. Ryan Nebhard believes this is not just some 5-6 game flash, that this is, he believes he can do this. And I'm glad you brought that stuff up about Ime. I missed his pregame press conference. I'm going to have to go back and listen to that. Because, I think obviously the size, worked against him with a lot of front offices. And I think there's a lot of people that are saying, you know what, maybe we miscalculated there.
Yeah, Ryan Nembhard spoke last night like a guard who knows he's going to be here for a while. I thought he made some very smart, poignant comments about, the way things were happening with Anthony Davis, trying to get him the ball, that kind of thing. Sounded like a very confident young man about what he knows his role is going to be and willing to speak up confidently with his words about what things were happening and not happening on the floor. So Ryan Nembhard becoming already a fan favorite for a lot of folks with his play tonight. Mavericks make the fans happy with a big win at home against Houston. We'll get some time off before they get back on the floor later this week. Mark, we appreciate the time as always. Good to see you. Hope you had a good time with your man Dirk. Shout out to Scooter, whom I love dearly. Looked like he was having a lot of fun there, so hopefully you had a good time tonight.
I did okay, I would say. Yes. I had quite a good night.
Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.
All right, guys, be good. Goodbye, chat.
Mark.
Talk soon.
That is our national NBA insider, Mark Stein. Close Stein Line the Stein Line on X. Thank you to all of you for joining us here on our post-game show tonight. We had a lot of fun here at our DLLS Sports Studios on the second night of a back-to-back where the Mavericks get a big, big win, beating up on Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets in a 122-109 win. Obviously, they are off tomorrow, just as we are.
It's time for the weekend to start.
No, it's time. Right, finally. It's time for our weekend to start. We will be back on Monday for our regular show at 12 p.m. Here on DLLS Sports. So we'll have shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at our normal start time of 12 p.m. And then we will be back for our pregame show and postgame show on Friday when the Mavericks take on the Brooklyn Nets. Appreciate our guy Tanner making us look good and sound good as always. Thank you, sir. Thank you to our national NBA insider Mark Stein and our DLLS Mavs beat writer Harrod Jr. for joining us from the AAC. That is our DLLS Mavs analyst Bobby Curl. I'm your host, Kevin Gray. We will talk to you Monday right here on DLLS Sports. Y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you then. Y'all be good. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.